back to the Richard Sherman podcast. Today I have an incredible guest, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Macdonald. Appreciate you joining me, bro.
Yeah, honored to be on here, man. Great to see you.
Great to see you. So I want to start at the beginning of your journey. You had a fork in the road. You could have went into finance. You were summa cum laude, and you decided to go intern for Baltimore. How did that?
Well, I didn't decide to go. Like, I didn't just pick Baltimore. They fortunately reached out to me. I think it's like a calling thing from God. Frankly, it's just, how could you not? Like, that was a dream of mine to do it, and I had taken a job, in the business world. Wasn't fired up about it, but it kind of felt like it was time to move on. And the Ravens, they reached out and they had this whole process that Jay Harbaugh actually helped define. And so I had an opportunity to go up there and talk with them and meet with everybody, and they chose me. And so that was just like a major blessing. And you're sitting there, I'm going to go work for the Ravens. And so I'm going to go try to take advantage of the opportunity.
On a practice field, you shared a story with me about it's almost a full circle moment, 10 years to the day since you came in here and had a conversation with Dan Quinn and got to see him and how he coached and try to learn from him. Now you're the head coach of that same team. I mean, just take me through that journey of how we got here.
Yeah, it's funny that we're talking today. It was on my heart the other day, going through the locker room and seeing the guys. But so the guy that I was working for at the time, our defensive coordinator, Todd Grantham, set up a visit. My sister was living in Kirkland at the time, so I was going to come up here and visit her in the spring. And so they had a relationship, DQ and Todd. So they set up a time for me to come in here and hang out with DQ for the day. And I think it was a low period, not everybody was in, but I'll tell you what, like, just walking through the door the first time, it just felt so much different than anything that I was used to. Like, positive. I mean, we all know the culture that was here, the positivity, the energy, the connection that everybody had. And for DQ to take his time to just hang out with a dumb GA like me, I forget what he was talking about. Whatever he drew on the sheet of paper, I would have thought it was gold. And, but then we walked around. What I shared with Sherman was, he goes in the locker room and like, I'm in there with him, and you were right there, maybe finishing a workout or something. And like, you guys dapped each other up. It was like, you're laughing. There's, he's like shadow boxing you, like, and I'm just like, man, this guy is so cool. Yes. And this place is so awesome, and, so that's one of those like core memories that you have as a coach of, oh, this is what it could feel like, and this is probably one of the reasons why these guys are so good. And then, yeah, I mean, you look at the calendar again, I think it's a calling thing. You look, it's almost 10 years to the day from walking into the building. We're walking in there as head coach. So it's a pretty incredible story. And
you talk about a rapid ascent. I mean, you're still one of the youngest head coaches in the National Football League. How incredibly blessed do you feel and just privileged? You get to do this for a job. You get to lead these incredible men. You came in your first season, win 10 ball games. I mean, there are coaches that have coached a long time that probably still haven't seen a 10-win season, but that's a story for a different day. Yeah, I think you put it the right way. Incredibly blessed. There's like a sense of responsibility of when you're around, like today, we were having not the best morning of all time. Some of the game plan meetings we had weren't really going the way that we wanted it to go, and it was a little frustrating. We were stuck in the mud a little bit, but you get to the team meeting, you see the guys, you're in the defensive team meeting, and you come to life. And so anytime you're around the guys, you're just like, man, I love these guys, and there's a responsibility there because they're putting it on the line. They have so much at stake. And it's our football team. It's our city's football team, and that's huge. But these are the guys that we're interacting with on a daily basis, and that's what gets you going. I mean, that's the sense of responsibility you have. And I think I know I'm young. I've had a lot of great opportunities. Been really lucky. I used to joke with Harbs and in Baltimore. We'd had with some great coaches that move on to great opportunities. Like Spags was our DB coach in 2014. He became a defensive coordinator. So then I got to be promoted. Ted Monachino got a defensive coordinator job, so opportunity was available. And then Dean Pease retired. I mean, Leslie Frazier was our DB coach at one point. He got promoted. He went to Buffalo. So I was always the young, cheap option to kind of take the next step responsibility wise. But just been around like awesome people, man. Like if you were to tell me when I came in to hang out with DQ, I was gonna hang out with Dan Quinn, Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, Ozzie Newsome, Steve Spagnuolo, Dean Pease, Wing Barton. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's and then the guys we have here. I mean, we got some great coaches in the building. John Schneider. It's pretty incredible.
It's really incredible. And at least from, 30,000 foot view, I can see elements of all those coaches, even how you ran your off-season program, certain elements. I can see Jim Harbaugh and how he does things and how he knows that Callis built great football teams.
Sure.
And he only built them by getting the reps. And he had this great simple saying that he would say, more is more.
That's right.
It has never been less.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. That's right. I was there.
It's him. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration to your coaching style?
Oh man, I think you said it best. Is just when you're around these people, you realize. I mean, I think that the common thread between all these guys is just it's true to them. There's no phoniness there. God, that drives you crazy if someone's trying to act like somebody else. And I mean, I've been around John Harbaugh for a long time. I mean, he's a huge influence on me. But yeah, you're just taking bits and pieces. Oh, okay, that I'm inspired by that. Well, maybe I would tweak it like this. I think that's kind of more my style. You're always kind of making those assessments as you go. Yeah, you talk about just our programming. I think the blend that I've found is work that's true to us is, hey, we say old school principles, new school methods. So the callous is real. Hey, we're going to get after it. We're going to respect each other. We're going to have integrity. I think that you have to have that to have a solid foundation. But new school methods, hey, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do cool stuff. We're gonna chase edges on how we do stuff and methods, and we're gonna use science and we're gonna use analytics, and we're gonna study the heck out of what schemes and try to be on the forefront of that, and how we acquire players. All that stuff is hopefully it has a youthful, innovative feel to it.
I think the coolest thing about you and about a lot of the great coaches now is your ability to pivot and be flexible. Mm-hmm. You're not rigid in your philosophy. You have your foundational pillars, but you also understand that each year is a new challenge. You have a new team and you have new individuals. Walk me through your changes or your evolution from year one to year two.
Man, it's pretty significant. Frankly, I think we finished last year and I know you take 10 wins is awesome. It's great, but we have bigger goals here, and frankly, we should have higher expectations for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so we fell short, and we have to be critical of what we're doing. It's the same. It goes back to the same philosophy. Hey, we're still gonna be built on the right stuff, but how we're doing it, let's evaluate that. So, as a head coach, what did I fall short? Well, I can be better in these areas. Streamlining the message, taking more ownership of the team. Being better in the team meetings, connecting the building better, having better relationship with our players. All those things was a priority. Hey, we can improve our offseason program. It was a great program last year, but we can take it to another level, and that could give us an edge going into the season. So those were all in the forefront. And then we got great people around, working with Ivan and Danny down there, building our offseason program was so much fun. They took it by the reins, made it come to life. It was awesome. All of our coaches they make it come to life, man. And you really appreciate that because they're going to bat for you.
I think it's really cool that offensively you guys have evolved, and it seems like you guys are adopting some semblance of and I hate to use other coaches to name it, but that's the only way I know how to name these systems, the McVay, Shanahan, O'Connell, LaFleur's West Coast, Bill Walsh system, sure. which is the top of the top at the league right now. Every great team is running some version of it. And defensively, I think you guys are at the forefront of, your combinations, your exotic fronts, your disguise packages. Tell me about that evolution and what went into that, because when you lost Geno and you lost DK, and obviously that's a huge shift. You lose Tyler, that's two of your top three receivers. You lose your quarterback, and it seemed like the pivot you guys made was so seamless. You go out to practice, you would never know that you really lost anybody. It's been smooth on offense. You guys look like a well-oiled machine. You got young guys stepping up. The offensive line looks as good as it's ever been. Take me through that.
Well, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking when we were interviewing Klint, he asked about personnel. He goes something along the lines of, "Hey, now, are these guys? Are we expecting any changes? Or these? This is what we're gonna have because I like these guys or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, Of course. So I didn't know it happened fast. And, he gets here and all of a sudden we have a completely new offense. John and I are like, hey, everything's going to be all right. I promise, And, but Klint's been awesome, man. He's first of all, he's a team guy. Talk about all-time greats. I know he's kind of like with Kyle and his dad building his own vision of his offense, but Gary's such a big influence on him. I think what's cool about our shared experience of like how we've built our systems is, you think about, Clint's even been around air raid. And so, he's worked for his dad and he's worked for Kyle and then he's done it on his own. So it's same idea of, hey, I'm on these awesome systems and I'm learning the nuts and bolts of what makes it come to life. But hey, there's different ways to do it. And so I think his experience last year, he really started creating a vision for how he wants his offense to run. And it's adaptable on personnel, but I think I'm proud to say we have our own this is the Seahawk offense now. Now we're based on West Coast wide zone principles, all that, but this is Clint's offense. This is our offense now, which is cool. It's the same thing with us on defense. We were talking before we walked in here. We're influenced by so many great systems and coordinators in the past. But I think as a coach, it's your responsibility to kind of read the tea leaves and understand where the game's going. The game's so much different than it was, in 06 and 08, even 5 years ago, and so you have to kind of have a system that's adaptable and flexible enough and light enough where you can move and shake and keep it simple for the guys so they can go have success.
Yeah, I think you're doing that. And I love that. And I love your football mind. And we're going to pivot a little bit because this is the important stuff. You had a son a little less than a year ago.
Yeah.
How has that journey been? Because you're having all this massive impact on all these other young men, but now you got your blood, sweat, and tears right there in your house.
Well, he's here right now. He's I saw him. He's here before practice. My wife. The only time I can see him now is at practice. My wife brings him all the time. It's just been incredible. Like I don't know if I had actual expectations about how it was going, or how it was going to go. But when you have a kid in the middle of the season, it's kind of wild. And your first year, there's a lot of stuff going on last year. But I think there was a light that went off in my mind, like in the off season, like, oh, you've missed a significant portion of your kid's life. Like you got to kick it into gear as a dad,
That's not true, but
but I felt it a little bit, and my wife's been so awesome with the whole process. But we're not, like, our family's not here. We don't have we haven't have like a lot of people as a help and stuff. So, but it's been awesome. Now he's almost walking and like he's interested in stuff and he's banging on the table and we're trying to get him to say, we're racing to say dad or mom first.
It's always dad first.
Yeah. You know how that goes. So, we're in that stage right now, which is awesome. And, I still can't believe he's like ours. You look at him and you're like, what are you going to look like? Like, what's your personality going to be? What are you going to say? What are you going to be interested in? And so it's really cool. Can't wait for, I love this phase. Can't wait for the other phases, but don't want this phase to leave. It's a great time.
You're going to experience a lot of phases of that. What I will say as another dad, is it feels that way. It feels like every second you're away, you're like, man, I miss this. And thank God for our wives and how superhuman they are and how incredible they are. Because I tried to explain this to other people, but you don't really understand it until you see it for yourself. It's like when they become mothers, it's like something clicks and you're like, God, oh my God, how do you know how to do it? How did you know to do that? Like, I never saw you. I've known you for a long time now, and I've never seen you do this.
That's right.
It's really
well, and they actually created the kid, which is insane. And they birth, and you're like, wow, that's incredible. And then they're like, okay, I'm just going to make his food now,
right?
Just naturally. And you're like, it's like the body naturally knows what to do, and they turn it. And
you're like, can I help? It's
incredible.
Like, what do I do?
Yeah, and I'm like, nope, I can't. And hey, will you hold him for a second? And he loses his mind.
Right.
You're like, all right, I'll go try to calm him down.
That's what I would say. You appreciate the moments when they get old enough to know, and you can sit them in the office, and they're just sitting here on your arm, and you're like, hey, I got to watch this tape. At least you're right here, and and you just appreciate the moments that, hey, I'm working hard for something. I said this to them a long time ago. When I had my first son, we had just lost the Super Bowl. We had lost, and he was born 3 days. My wife was like getting contractions.
I forgot about that.
Oh my God, it was chaos, and it hits you in a different way. Losing is hard enough, but losing and then having your son at the game, you're like, oh my God. So I was like, one of my biggest goals was to say, hey, I want my son to see me play in a Super Bowl.
Mm.
Like, and so it'd be so many moments where you're like, hey, you got all these all pros, you got all these accolades, like you could feel good about your career. But when you have something like that and you see him every day and you're like, hey, you're pushing me to another level that I appreciate you helping me get to, because without you, I don't know if I'm getting there.
Yeah, heck yeah, it's special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like, I mean, there's a lot of like existential questions that you ask yourself, especially when you become a dad. But you're like, what are we really doing? Why are we doing what we're really doing? It kind of tests you,
Right.
You got to put your money where your mouth is on what you're about. And now it's like, okay, well, your son's going to see this at some point. Well, whatever way it goes, he's going to see how you did what you did, and that's always in the back of your mind, But it would be, I mean, I couldn't. I'm like praying that he is old enough and to be able to experience this, meet the guys, hang out, have a relationship with the guys, be interested in the game, all that type of stuff. He didn't have to be a coach. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully he's a, astronomer or something.
I'm going to let you know something. It's the reason all these great coaches, and you look up and their sons are like right behind them.
Right.
You're talking about Kubiak right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Shanahan, you go McVay, LaFleur's, like all these guys. And because it's what you've grown into. If you're a great coach, you coach for a long time. And it's not like you're taking something away from your son, because everybody's dad goes to work. I mean, not everybody, but for the most part, you see that. My dad was a trash truck driver. I didn't want to be a trash truck driver, but the lessons that it taught me about being consistent, being on time, being dedicated to your craft, being where you're supposed to be, and understanding that you have to, there's 85% of life is doing what you have to do to get to do the 15% of the things you want to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you understand that and you're at peace with it, then you have no problem working your butt off to get to that 15%. It's like, I know I got to grind, and I appreciate the lessons, and I'm sure your son will appreciate the lessons that you're teaching and how hard you're working and the hours you're putting in, because you also have a great wife who's letting him know, hey, your dad's out there making it happen for you.
That's right. It's funny. Listening to it reminded me of, today we were talking about our style to the team, and one of the words we use is relentless. And so, but AD had a heck of a team meeting today, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, but we talked about relentless, like what it means as a football player, a team, all that type of stuff. And AD was like, what he told the defenses, what I was thinking when I was listening to Mike talk was my mom. He grew up without a dad for the majority of his childhood, and she just worked away to make that opportunity for her kids. And you're just like, man, it's true. Relentless is one of those old school things that like it comes to life, and you can have. She probably, in those moments growing up, and there's a lot of hard times, but the impact she's making is just really great. I mean, and then on the other side, like what we're able to do, I mean, we're coaching the NFL, man. Like this is pretty awesome.
Right.
Like people have like real stuff going on right there. And I mean, there's challenges in our job, but you have to remind yourself that, I mean, we got it pretty dang good.
We got it pretty dang good. and you're doing a great job at it. Anything you want to tell the fans, because they're so excited, and they got all these questions about all the prognosticators got you ranked at the bottom of the NFC West. Is there anything you feel about that, or is that bulletin board material? And it's like, I kind of know the answer, but I'll let you speak it.
We don't use it as bulletin board material. I think one of those things we talked about going from year 1 to year 2 is let's just focus on us and becoming the team that we say that we want to become. And then the results will take care of itself. If we do what we say we want, or what we want to become, it's going to, like, the results are going to happen some form or another. And so let's focus on that. My response would be like, what were the odds last year going at this time of the year?
Right.
Or who I don't remember. Nobody remembers. It's just it's like, I always say, it's like fairy dust,
right?
It's just like Wolf of Wall Street. Like it's a wazi, it's a woozy. It's just, it's stuff out there that people are interested in, which is cool, but it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. You still got to line it up, put the pads on, and see how it goes.
That's why they play the game.
That's the beautiful thing about football. Any given Sunday, I know it's a cliche thing, but really that's how it goes. People are like, oh man, you got the hardest schedule or you got the easiest schedule. Like none of that matters. Last year really doesn't matter. We're going to strap it up this year, and there's going to be some team that you expect to win every game
That's right.
that has struggles. And there's going to be some team that worked their tail off this offseason that you're not expecting to be great, that's going to just be there at the end. And you're going to be like, whoa, how did they end up here? Because these are grown men with ambitions and drive, and they work their butt off. And I think you guys have put together a great OTAs offseason, a great training camp, and I'm looking forward to seeing the product.
Yeah, thanks, man. I love it.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate your time. Thanks,
Thank
bro.
you.